What's up YouTube, KidMoto22 here, and I'm here talking to you guys today, episode 2 of Storytime. And today, I don't really have a story as much for you as maybe I want to talk a little bit about what I think Harley-Davidson should do to save the motor company and the downward spiral that they seem to be facing right now in their motorcycle sales. So let's get to it right now. All right guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Storytime. I'm Kid Moto, and so I have 3 ideas of what I think Harley-Davidson should be able to do to save the motorcycle company and really help them to, get themselves out of this downward spiral that they seem to be in motorcycle sales. And so let's get to what I think these top three things are. These are my ideas. These aren't by any means anything that the motor company is actually doing, just my opinion and my ideas of what I think they could do to make a difference in their sales and maybe improve what people think of the motorcycle company right now. So number 1, I think Harley-Davidson should reduce the number of models that they have in their inventory. Now, while this is probably not my complete unique idea, I do know that Harley-Davidson has rumored to be reducing their inventory, so the number of models that they have out there. So they have, maybe 4 or 5 Sportster models still, a number of baggers. Their Softail line is gigantic, right? And so I know that they're going through, I've heard rumors that the Deluxe is going to go. There's been a lot of rumors that the Sportster is going to be going. We all know that the Sportster is not going to meet the EU emission standards moving forward, and so they have to do something different with that line. So whether that means they're going to be eliminating the Sportster, I have no idea. But I think they need to reduce the number of models that they have all the way across the board. I think they have too many bikes. I think that's too much of an overhead for them. And just the tooling alone and all the different plans to build these different platforms has got to be extremely expensive. So I think number 1, they should be reducing the number of models that they have in their lineup. So that's the first thing. Number 2, I think they were onto something when they did the Electroglide standard. And I think this would be a great idea for Harley moving forward to have more standard models. What do we all like to do with our bikes when we buy them? They always say the rarest Harley model is one that's never been modified, right? So why not put out, rather than coming off the line already modified, and I get that they thought that that was going to be a cost savings to the customer, but they just end up raising the prices of them. So why don't they just make more standard models and less of the special models or whatever? So, and I think they should start with the bagger line, right? So with their touring models, I think they should have, if they're going to keep the Road Glide Special and all these other things, I think they should have a Road Glide Standard. The only difference is I think that they should offer these standard models in 2 platforms. I think they should offer them in a blacked out platform, and I think they should offer them in a chrome platform or a partially chrome platform. They've already got these, the parts for the black engines and blacked out models, and their special editions, they've already got it out there. But if they take these bikes, they strip them down, they take everything off them and make them so that they really are a standard model, and that if you want to add things to it, you can. Make them in chrome, make them in black for the people that like the black and people that like the chrome. Take all the stereos and the nav and the speakers and everything out of those. Make them compartments in the fairing if you want to. But they don't need to retool their factories to do this. They can just take these models, they can strip them down. And the other thing I think they should do is they should make these models at that $15,000 to $17,000 price range. This puts more people in that bagger market, more people that maybe want to move into the touring models, and allows them a greater opportunity to really get out there and use that line of bikes. I think that would be an opportunity for them to raise their sales. You could have, a Road Glide standard model in chrome and black. You could have a Street Glide standard model in chrome and black. You could have a Road King standard model in chrome and black. And then you could do away with the specials, right? And so for myself, I have a 2017 Road King Special. So if I were to get a bike like that moving forward, I could get a Road King standard in black So it would have the standard bags instead of the stretch bags. This kind of lends itself to a market right now. This is very popular in the performance bagger market. Everybody wants the shorter bags, the smaller bags, rather than the longer stretched ones. It lends itself to more clearance and cornering, and you're really not losing that much space in the actual bike itself for packing stuff in it. So I think it would feed into that performance bagger market that's out there right now, and it would offer a greater opportunity for more people to be able to get into the bagger market at that sub $20,000 price range. So that's my number 2. More standard models and offer them in chrome and black. Again, this is not something they would have to retool their factory for. And number 3, this is the one I had a lot of fun with, because this is kind of thinking a little bit outside of the box. It's something that they tried in the past, but they were unsuccessful, but I don't think they went all in on it. I think Harley needs to have a $5,000 bike. I think they need to make a 350 or 400cc motorcycle. I think it should be a V-twin. I think it should be liquid cooled. And I think this would be a great entrance bike into the Harley market. Now, I don't think that they should do like they did with the 500, the Street 500 and the Street 750, where they kind of, they put out this smaller bike, but then they also just kind of made all the hand controls cheap, and the tank was horrible, and use some things in the existing platform. Take a segment of motorcycling that's very popular right now. So for instance, a bobber or a cafe racer. Make this small bike, 350, 400 cc's, in that bobber or cafe racer range. It's going to appeal to the urban commuter, maybe the millennial generation, maybe even some younger kids. Get them in that $5,000 price range and get a bike that is liquid cooled. If we all know that Harley builds a ton of horsepower into their bikes already, and they sell them to us, and then we put new air cleaners and new exhaust and everything on them to draw all this horsepower that's already built into the motor. Well, what if they took that same motor and they made it liquid cooled, which, we've all seen some of these platforms out there of the new motor that they have that is supposed to be built and be able to go in different sizes and go in different bikes and come on the Bronx or the Pan America, or, that motor, but make it smaller. Make it a 350 or 400 cc liquid cooled, so that you're really going to get a lot of power. I bet you Harley could manufacture a 350 or 400 cc bike that was liquid cooled, that has just as much as the 883 air cooled Sportster does. But you could appeal to a wider market. The thing that Harley's struggling with right now, in my opinion, again, is this, and a lot of companies are, the new rider market. How are we getting new riders onto these bikes? And everybody's struggling with it. But what they've really never had is a small enough bike that can be considered a starter bike. There's a lot of controversy around that. I personally never felt like a Sportster was a starter bike. I just felt like it was the smallest Harley in their lineup. But if they really did a small bike that could be considered a starter bike, but really if they had it, some custom options for it, they made it off the line like a bobber or like a cafe racer that had that cool factor to it coming right off of the line, that might appeal to some of these younger riders, and put it in a price range that makes it affordable. Even the Sportster right now is 10 grand. Get something that is going to get people on bikes that's affordable for more riders. That seems to be one of the things that was a huge detriment that we've talked about on the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast, about what prevents people from getting on motorcycles. And a big thing for a lot of people is cost. If you lower the cost of entry, the ownership entry cost was more affordable for people, you're going to get more people on bikes, because those of us that ride already know it's not just the bike. It's the bike, it's the insurance, it's the helmet, the gear, the jackets, everything that you need to go along with it. You're not just going into getting a bike. You're getting a bike, and then you're buying into whatever lifestyle that bike is going to bring with you. So whether you're going to be traveling or camping or whether you're going to be riding around the city, you're still going to need gear, and all of that stuff adds to that cost of entry into the market. So if they could lower that entry cost, I think that they're really going to benefit from having bringing more riders to the market. And again, I really stress, they can't dumb it down and cheapen this model. Use the existing stuff they already have. They have a great platform already with the 883. Use the peanut tank. Don't make a new tank. Use something that they know is already out there and existing and working well in that space, and put it on a cafe racer, or put it on a bobber style bike. These are going to lend itself to bringing again that more younger rider segment or cost of ownership segment people into the market. Once you get them on a Harley, even if they they have that less expensive model, maybe we'll be able to continue to have those riders ride deep in the future, or maybe they found their perfect bike. But I think that is the kind of the last thing that they could do to really start to bring new riders in. So there you go. That's my story time for this week. I just kind of wanted to get that out there and talk a little bit about it. My top 3 things, again, just to kind of go back and circle back around. My top 3 things are: reduce the number of models that they have in their market. The second thing was to have standard models available, more standard models, strip down less expensive models, and start with the touring line and kind of go from there. And the third thing was make a bike that is affordable in the marketplace, a liquid cooled B-twin that's around that 350 or 400 for your urban commuters. Get a more affordable bike on the market for more people to make it into the workspace. Into the workspace, to get more people into the marketplace and riding bikes. So there you go. That's what I have for today. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button below, and I'll put a link to another video. I'll put my first storytime link for my first storytime video up there, and the subscribe button will be over here. And that's really all I have for you guys today. Thanks for taking the time. This is Kid Moto. I'm out.